Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for WWE NXT for June 12th, 2019. This show took place in Bel Air, Maryland. This, I think, was taped shortly after NXT TakeOver 25. I think they did this because there was some matches that they showed there, like the submission match between Kushida and Gulak, that they wanted to show. And I like that they kind of do this in a way. This clearly, obviously, too, was like a live event they did on NXT. Um, and they're just showing like three matches from it because a lot of them had storylines that kind of took place from Takeover 25 and an episode, of NXT. So I think they just wanted to show that. But I actually don't mind when they do this because I kind of like it when they get out of Full Sail sometimes because it's like nice for them to go to other places for the NXT television. So I actually kind of like it when we actually do go outside of NXT takeover. Well, not NXT takeover, but Full Sail when it's not like a takeover or something. So I think it's pretty cool. Um, and we had Mo Manalo and Nigel McGuinness on commentary for the show. I sometimes just wish that they would just put them on commentary for the show because I easily think they could, easily just do commentary for NXT. I get like WWE wants to do like a 3-man commentary team or person. Since woman I do a commentary now. With one person be a play-by-play, another person just being solely off of the baby phases, and another person being strictly for heels. But Molinalo and Nigel McGuinness do it so well where we really wouldn't need them. So kind of wish they would just let them commentate the show. Um, but yeah, that's neither here or there. Kicked right off with the match. It was Candice LeRae and Io Shirai versus Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir with Shayna Baszler inside. Uh, Obviously, this took place after everything that happened at NXT TakeOver 25. I thought it was a good tag team match. I think, Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke have improved significantly. But also the wrestling, Candice LeRae and Io Shirai are probably the two best women wrestlers in the world. So, really not saying much there. But I had thought it was, a nice, solid match. Candice LeRae gets the advantage early. She gets a pretty cool drop kick on the outside, taking out, I believe, Duke. And Shafir ends up, tossing Candice LeRae on the floor. And they dominate Candice LeRae for a while. Marina Shafir does the, what's it called? The judo throw, which I thought was cool. And you could clearly see that Melina Shafir is definitely more talented of the two UFC 4 horsewomen. Um, that they've recently brought in. So you could clearly see that just by this match alone. And then eventually, Io Shirai gets the hot tag, and she really starts to go off on Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. She does the arm breaker onto Jessamine Duke, which I thought was a nice spot in the match because that's something that Shayna Baszler's been doing to everyone, and she does it right in front of Shayna Baszler. And then Io Shirai goes for the moonsault, but Shayna Baszler pumps it in and pulls Jessamine Duke out of the ring. So she does like a moonsault on the outside to Shayna Baszler, attacks Shayna Baszler. Candice LeRae does a suicide dive onto Duke and Shafir, and the match just spills into chaos. Everybody starts to get into a brawl, so the referee just throws the match out, and Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler get into a brawl, all the way into the crowd, and Candice LeRae brawls with Duke and Shafir, and then that was pretty much that. But I liked it though. I thought this was a nice, solid match here, and you could make the argument that they should have had a finish to this match, but I really don't have a complaint about that because Io Shirai wanted to get her hand so badly on Shayna Baszler. I actually was okay with this, and like I said, NXT doesn't do this that often, so it gets kind of a pass because the main roster does it so much that you just get annoyed by it, but NXT does it not that much at all. So I thought it was fine. It's not like the match was going that long too, anyways. But now this is setting up a steel cage match for this week's NXT because they said in 2 weeks, but obviously I'm watching this on delay. It's actually going to be this week's NXT coming up between Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. Don't know who's going to win that match because the title's not on the line, so I could see Io Shirai winning the match and then securing herself for an NXT Women's Title match, or I could just see Shayna Baszler winning. Really don't know what's going to happen there, but we'll have to wait and see. Um, and then the Velveteen Dream does one of those selfie promos. and he says, and he has like the NXT North American title in it, and he says, that look at this deserves the spotlight, you know, and admiration from the fans. And then he just says, I don't mean the title, referencing that he's talking about himself. And he says that what is next for the Velveteen Dream in my title defense? And he says, Dream over. And I liked it. I thought it was a good promo. Then we had another vignette for Damian Priest. I really like his gimmick where he's just like this gothic Hollywood star. It's something that they really haven't done before in wrestling. And they announced that he's going to debut on the next episode of NXT, which is the most recent one that just happened. So I'm actually excited about that. I can't wait to see Damian Priest debut. Then we had a submission match. It was Kushida versus Drew Gulak. I actually thought this was a great match. This might have been my favorite match of the show. They both start doing chain wrestles to each other, and Kushida does some nice head scissors, goes for the hoverboard log early, but Drew Gulak fights out of it. And Kushida kind of like is out wrestling Drew Gulak throughout the beginning portions of this matchup. And you can clearly see, too, that this also, by the way, was taped prior to Drew Gulak's return to 205 Live because he didn't have like the shaved beard and like the hair kind of grown out. You could see that this is Drew Gulak post-gimmick change, pre-gimmick change, I mean, when he is more calculated now, which I kind of like. It makes because this match wouldn't have worked as much if it was the Drew Gulak now who's more calculated and cold. So I actually think it makes sense. But yeah, I still think it's kind of funny too on 205 Live. They try to talk about how Gulak like went soul searching, but really he just went to NXT for a few weeks to feud with Kushida. So I think it's kind of funny. But yeah, that eventually, Kushida and Gulak go at it. Kushida hits like a back kick, sending Gulak off the apron. Eventually, though, Gulak hits a wicked clothesline from the apron. He hits 2 inverted body slams, which was something I'd never really seen done before. I thought that was pretty cool. And he gets Kushida into like a weird chin lock, and he holds him there for a while. And eventually, Kushida fights out of it. And they both exchange ankle locks on each other, which I thought was really cool. Kushida mounts a comeback, hits a springboard back kick. And Kushida gets Drew Gulak into the armbar. He went for it earlier, but Gulak countered it. This time he got it, but Gulak got to the ropes, causing a rope break, which kind of doesn't make any sense. Why is there rope breaks in a submission match? I don't really get it. But then Gulak, does the ankle lock himself, but Kushida gets to the ropes just in time. And then they both fight on the apron. Kushida has Alana into the win onto Gulak, and they're both just really fighting it out. Gulak hits a wicked clothesline. He goes for the Gulak, but doesn't quite get the move in. And eventually Kushida gets Drew Gulak into the hoverboard lock, and Gulak immediately taps out, which I like because it shows how devastating that submission move is. And Kushida gets the win. Makes sense since Gulak's going back to 205 Live. Really no reason for him to get the win here. He doesn't really benefit. Kushida's the new superstar, going to stick in NXT for the long run. You want to keep him looking strong. And afterwards, Gulak shakes his hand in respect, and then that was that. This was basically Gulak's last match under this gimmick, too, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, I thought they had a great match, and I liked it. Then Aaliyah and Vanessa Born are backstage, and they're upset that Mia Yim thinks that she's next in contention for an NXT Women's Title match. So they basically imply that Mia Yim is stupid and unfashionable, so they have rented all these books for her to read and such. And they challenge her basically to a match, which I expect to get made either on the next episode or 3 episodes from now. So we'll have to wait and see. I could see Mia Yim doing some type of interview, challenging one of them to a match, or maybe getting a partner and having a match. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I thought it was fine. I actually think Vanessa Born and Aaliyah are actually improved on the microphone, which is cool. In the ring, though, not so much. Then we had the main event. It was Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Really good main event. I thought it was a great main event, actually. All teams really go at it at this matchup. Orny Lorcan immediately hits a drop kick, and the match just like it spills into an absolute out of control brawl. At first, it's kind of like a technical wrestling match where they're both trying to hit like half and half suplexes and such, but it's just to no avail. Reversed. Lorcan hits like some sick uppercuts onto Strong and O'Reilly. And Lorcan and Birch are really working together to take out Strong and O'Reilly. But eventually, Strong throws Birch into Lorcan, and they get the heat for a while onto Orny Lorcan and really dominate Orny Lorcan, which I thought was cool. I really liked the gutbuster into like the double stomp that Strong and O'Reilly hit. And eventually, Orny Lorcan hits a blockbuster onto Kyle O'Reilly, and only look and Danny Burch gets the hot tag. He starts going off on everybody. He goes for a crossface on Kyle O'Reilly, but Kyle O'Reilly just gets to the ropes just in time, and the match just like spills down into absolute chaos. I thought it was awesome. Definitely just go check it out. But then eventually, Jackson Ryker makes his way out to the win, and referees and backstage personalities are trying to stop him. He chokeslams one of them on the floor, and he just wants to come out and destroy everybody, I guess. But eventually, this leads to a distraction because Strong and O'Reilly are distracted by this, and Danny Burch rolls up Kyle O'Reilly, gets the win, and only Lorcan and Danny Burch win. O'Reilly and Strong are upset about this, so I could see this maybe setting up like a future match between maybe Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong versus Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Not really sure. But I actually kind of like the finish here. I like that it had a finish, because on the main roster it wouldn't have had a finish. They would have just had Jackson Ryker go in there and destroy everyone and no finish. But I actually like that it had one. Logan and Butch get a win, and I'm okay with that because they haven't really had a big victory in a while. So I'm actually alright with that. So there you go. And that was NXT for this episode. I thought it was great. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I really enjoyed the submission match and the main event, and I also enjoyed Velveteen Dream's promo, Damian Priest's vignette. I even thought Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne's promo was fine, and I thought the opening match was good. So I actually really liked this show. I thought it was great. Not I think like what hurt this show was maybe we could have used like one more match in there, but other than that, nothing really wrong with it. It's just not an A category show. I've seen like better NXT episodes that have been A's, and this just wasn't one of them. So that's why I'm giving it a B plus. But that's pretty much the end of my review. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and all the Talking 80 YouTube channels. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you.